What is happening? Hope everyone is doing well. We have a Starbucks Grande Blonde Latte. I want to chat about automate, delegate, remove. Today, I want to chat about mindset. Today, I want to chat about becoming a lifelong learner. Today, we are talking about sales processes. So we're going to entitle these live sessions, Coffee with Cody. What is happening? Hope you are doing well. Yesterday, I chatted with my buddy Justin about appointment setters, and super excited to get that up on iTunes and Spotify. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Coffee with Cody. Really, the goal is to help passionate, energetic entrepreneurs live exuberant lives full of just passion, full of exuberant energy, and really help them with marketing and mindset knowledge to help them build, grow, and scale their business online. Got a lot of people on the live here. I got a story to tell you about hiring. Let me know your worst hiring story in the comment section. I would love to know, but I got one for you today. I got a story, so stick around. Obviously we are building out a call center. That clicking there is Slack. I'm going to close that. I got some people messaging me. Obviously, we're building out a call center right now, the Studio PTPO call center. It's been a really big focus for us over the last little while. And it's really interesting because, we've gone on this really rampant hiring process right now where we're trying to just find the best and the brightest in the industry. And I want to tell a quick little story. So if you're listening back on iTunes or Spotify, I want to say thank you more than anything. Really, I would love to know, first off, before I get into the story, if you have any hiring advice that you have been given, or if you've ever hired anyone, you have any insight, throw it in the comment section below. Would love to chat a little bit about what you've learned in regards to hiring. But I hired this guy in December. So I hired him in middle of December, and everything seemed good. He came as a referral from another person and that I had hired, and the other person that I had hired was pretty good. Working out, everything was working out fairly good. No longer with us, but for other reasons. But this person that I hired in the beginning of December just seemed great. Could communicate well. Seemed like it'd be a great addition to our team. And literally on the first day, something that I've learned over the last little while about hiring is that I generally spend the first 30 to 45 days every day, at least for a half an hour with the new hire to make sure they fit collectively into our culture. But this specific person on day one was great, booked a ton of calls, great for the call center, seemed like he was getting along with the team on the very few calls that he was on with us. And I had started out January 4th with being like, okay, we're going to hit the ground running. This is going to be amazing. And the Monday had passed. He did a great job. The Tuesday had passed. He did a great job. But on the Tuesday, the second day, we were having a conversation about life. And I was asking him, I was digging a little bit deeper, asking him some questions about where he came from. And I asked him some questions about his past employer and kind of like, and I asked him in the actual interview as well. And he told me in the interview, and I distinctly remember that he had actually already quit his other job with this other company. And he actually told me in the interview that this company had gone out of business. And it was so interesting because on his story on day two didn't match to his story he was telling me on the Tuesday. So I was like kind of caught back a little bit, but it was at my end of my day, and I was doing my daily check-ins with him at 5. So we did that. It kind of caught me a little bit off guard. I don't know if you've ever been caught off guard where it's like you hire somebody and immediately you're like, oh my God, I made the wrong decision. And I didn't feel that. I felt that way before, but I didn't feel that in this circumstance. I wanted to hear him out a little bit more, and we were chatting, and he's like, this and that, and he was kind of going through kind of his experience with the past employer about how I wasn't getting paid, and there was this lack of communication that was happening between him and the employer. But he told me in the interview that he had already quit the job in December, but he didn't actually. And then his stories didn't line up because on the Monday. He didn't actually really quit the job until he started with us on the Monday, and he told them first thing that morning. He didn't even give his past employer 2 weeks notice. So the Wednesday comes around for us, and what ends up happening was he misses the morning meeting. So we do a daily huddle every single day. And keep in mind, like if you just hop on the live, I do the first 30 to 45 days, I meet every day with every new employee to make sure they are the right fit for our company, because we're looking for the best and the brightest in the industry. And on the Wednesday, he messaged me saying, I need to chat with you. So we hop on Zoom, we have this chat, and he essentially says, I'm going back to my old employer. And I just sit back and I think, like, thank God. Like, thank God, he's going back to his past employer, because one of our values here at Studio PTBO is respect, humility, integrity, and empathy. And I happen to know this I happen to know his employer. So I'm glad, his past employer. So I'm glad. And immediately what I did was I went back to like the person that I know. And like, I didn't try to steal your person. Like, I didn't try to steal your employee by any means. We're not like that. You know, again, one of our values is respect, humility, integrity, and positivity. And that's not showing integrity, but this person lacked integrity in this moment, which is one of our key core values. And it reminds me how important it is to have values inside your company, and how important it is from day one. The first thing that we went through on day one is we went through our mission, we went through our vision, and we went through our values. And you will quickly know when you say this and you make this a forefront of your business every single day. It's like, these are our values. This is what shapes us. This is what we're working towards. It quickly, he was gone by Wednesday. And I call it serendipity, call it whatever you want. By the Wednesday, I like, it just didn't work out. And I think the biggest thing that I've learned over this last little while about hiring, and if you have any other great hiring tips in the comment section below, but one of the biggest things that I learned about hiring over the last little while is like how important it is to have a roadmap and ask key questions on that hiring process. So because this person came as a referral from another person, I skipped the process that I generally follow when I'm hiring. Generally, I do a 1 to 2 call, but I ask just a series of ton of questions. And I didn't follow the process. And I look back at it now and I'm like, okay, something I've learned through this, and something I encourage you, if you're listening, is just trust your gut. Like, you know, there's moments where there was another employee that we were having having issues with, and I did trust my gut, and they ended up leaving anyways. So like, what I'm trying to get at is, with hiring, so much of your intuition of what you're doing, obviously there's DISC assessments and there's so much other things out there, and asking the right questions and onboarding and everything. But the best piece of hiring advice that I've ever been given is trust your intuition, trust your gut, especially if you have, systems and processes in place inside your business that, map out your values, map out your vision, your mission, and you're collectively as a team pushing towards that. The person really quickly will either sink or swim. And with another thing that I realized with hiring is generally what I try to do. So if you ever want to apply to a position, we're hiring a graphic designer right now, so we're looking for that. If you ever come into our agency, generally, like I said, the first 30 to 45 days, I spend every day, at least for 30 minutes with the new employee, or somebody from the leadership team does. I'm doing a little bit less of that now. And something that I've learned over the last little while of spending those 30, 45 days is corporate. They do it every single week. They meet with every single employee. If you're a sales soup, you meet with every single employee once a week. And I find a lot of these things that I've learned from corporate that can be gleaned into an entrepreneur, whether you have one person, whether you have 2 people, whether you have 5 people, whether you have 20 people, it doesn't matter. It's like everyone needs to be managed differently. And that's for managing, but specifically with this hiring, like this hire, I quickly realized that there was an issue from a values perspective. And as soon as there's a conflict from the values that your company holds, you need to get that person out of your organization. 100%. You need to get them out of your organization. As soon as you recognize, and this is something I'm challenged with on a daily basis, and we go through, as soon as there is a conflict in values, you need to get that person out of your organization. Kevin asked, how far into the hiring process would you go before this gut feeling takes over? Dude, that's a hard question. How far into the hiring process? I think like I generally try to give people, a shadow of a day. I try to give them 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And I find if I spend every day with a person for 30 minutes, I generally know whether they're a go-getter and whether they're the best and the brightest in the industry and they do what they say they're going to do within 2 weeks of hiring them. And, again, then that comes into coaching and management and, pushing people to become better. But generally I know that's why I say, spend every day for 30 to 45 days with the person. And I wish I would have done this with everyone. Like I wish every single person that I've hired over the last little while, I wish I would have done this, because the people that really shine, I've done this with. Our senior accounts director, Jairus, I spent a lot of time with him, working with him. And he, is a mixture of working with them. And it was also a mixture of him grabbing the baton and actually running with it. But the gut feeling, I don't know, man, like if you have your vision, you have your mission, you have your values, everything lined out, you should know pretty quickly, in my opinion, within the first 30, especially within the first 30, 45 days, you spend every day with them. I've hired people in corporate where like I've hired them and then 2 weeks in, I've gotten bad vibes from that person. And I'm an intuition type of person, especially with hiring. Obviously, there's disassessments, and we do all these things. Like I did all these things in corporate, but generally, that intuition vibe of like, and that's generally why I spend every day for the first 30 days is like, my hiring method has always been, let's throw them in the deep end. And then let's try to overwhelm them with everything that we do. And then each day I'm giving them a low life raft to help them understand, what we do, because I want to see whether they crack under pressure or not. And I found that has been really effective. So I hope that helps to answer your question. Really, like I said, if you're just hopping on live, I was chatting about hiring process. If you have any questions, let me know. If you have any hiring advice, throw it in the comment section below. But I find that with hiring, it's so hard and there's so many different ideologies out there about hiring. Some people say hire fast, fire fast. Some people say hire slow, fire fast. I'm a huge proponent. If you've given the people this is another thing that I want to get across, because a lot of people will say hire slow and fire fast, but they won't give the people the tools that they need to succeed. I think that if you give everyone the opportunity to meet with you every day for the first 30 to 45 days and they're still not succeeding, then they're not the right fit for your team. Now, the other hand is like, if you don't have the systems and processes in place in your business and you don't have the tools that they need to succeed, then that's not on them. That's totally on you. And for me, I look back at some of our past processes. I'm like, that's not on them. Like, it's not on them. It's on me. It's totally on me. It's on my lack of inability in order to actually give them the tools that they need to succeed. But when you give someone the tools they need to succeed and you give them the coaching, you give them the support, you give them the ear, you give them the opportunity, and they're still not thriving, then I would say, yeah, trust your gut, trust your intuition, and let them go. And that's really what I wanted to hop on here. I just wanted to hop on today, talk about this crazy ass, story of this hiring that, like, at the beginning of the year, I was like all gung ho. I'm like, we had hit the January 4th. And then like, this was the first thing I dealt with on January 4th. And as an entrepreneur, like when you still have to deliver for your clients, be building this call center, like I was having to hop on the phone in order to book calls for clients. This is what it is. And then you find the right talent. You hire the right people. And I feel like we have that now. I feel like we have the right people. We have all the right people in all the right places. Call it serendipity. My last two hires, we have fired, and then, or like they have either not worked, or we fired them. We hired somebody new, and it's really worked out a lot better, in my opinion. We vibe a lot better in regards to personality type, but we also just all around, they're go-getters and they want it. So that's my encouragement I have for you today. Thanks for tuning in another episode of Coffee with Cody. Listen back on the replay, and you have any questions, throw them in the comment section below. I'll try to get back to you. Last thing I want to mention is we are on iTunes and Spotify with Coffee and Cody. All I ask, go to iTunes, go to Spotify, give us a subscribe, leave us a review. I don't monetize these things. I'm just trying to provide massive value back to the entrepreneur community. That's really the end goal here. Impact 1 million entrepreneurs to live live every day with passion and exuberant energy, really on a mission to help entrepreneurs, business owners, consultants. Hope you have a great day. Hope you stay safe out there, and make the best out of what's happening in the world right now. A really interesting thing. I'm going to close with this. Really interesting thing is there was a barber shop out of Hamilton or like St. Catharines area that changed their barber shop into a film production. They got creative. They found a loophole. Sometimes you have to find loopholes. Sometimes you have to try things, test things. Sometimes you have to fail in order to get to where you want to go in business. So don't let anyone hold you back. You're a strong entrepreneur. I've spoken out about recently about how stupid it is that small businesses are closed. I don't agree with it. And we're doing everything we can in order to, in order to speak out against it. So I want to thank you for tuning in to another episode of Coffee with Cody. Hope you have a great week. Hope you have a great weekend. I'll see you on Monday morning. Chat with you soon.